wanted to start book reviews. I wanted to do this because I really enjoy reading, and I felt like it would be an interesting thing to do on this channel. So for the first series I shall review Twilight. Certainly not because I have anything good to say about it. I actually used to like Twilight, mainly because I was young and stupid. After searching reviews and other people's opinions, rather than living in an echo chamber, I started seeing the flaws. So why don't we sum up Twilight's plot? Twilight starts with the main character, Bella Swan, moving to a town of Forks, Washington. She moves there to spend more time with her father and to finish up her 2 years of high school. Almost immediately, Bella is showered with boys wanting her and girls wanting to be her. She becomes popular without even being there more than a day. We then meet Edward Cullen, a mysterious boy who never really speaks. Bella finds him odd, Edward is rude, she follows him to the woods, dark, cold, hot, watches her while she sleeps, blah, blah, blah. Within the first 5 chapters, Edward and Bella become a hot, spicy thing. Nothing of real significance happens until the ending of the book. The rest is really just filler. Bella is tricked by a vampire because for some reason he can't just kill another human because Bella is just so special. Edward kills the bad guy, and they live happily ever after. This is just the first book. It wasn't really that much to read, and it was boring and nothing romantic. However, Edward started to control Bella, but that plays a bigger role in the second and third book. The first book wasn't really anything offensive, just really unrealistic and boring. The most offensive thing is when Edward watches her sleep before he even dates her. So, not much really to review. On to the next book. Twilight New Moon. This is when the books start to piss me off. It is probably the most offensive of the series, other than parts in the next book. The second book starts with Bella's birthday. Alice, or Edward's sister, throws a big party for Bella because why the hell not? Boring filler, and then comes the breakup. According to Twihards, this is the saddest part of the whole series. Edward tells Bella that people are starting to notice his father doesn't really age, and he doesn't want Bella to be put in harm's way after an incident regarding Alice's boyfriend wanting to kill Bella because of a paper cut. This is actually where Edward seems to care about Bella. But Bella finds this as the end of the world. Edward runs off, Bella gets lost in the woods. Filler and more. And over the course of months, Bella has nightmares, delusions, and many more weird things. Bella almost gets herself raped, and she hears Edward's voice. Not the sign of a mentally stable person. Bella starts getting close to an old friend, Jacob. He starts to have feelings for her, but she kind of just uses him to build something to put herself in more danger to hear Edward again. Jacob does kind of the same thing Edward did, where he leaves, but he's just more of a dick about it. Bella throws a hissy fit, and decides to do the dumbest thing I have ever read a character to do. She goes onto a cliff and jumps to hear Edward's voice. She sees the girlfriend of the vampire who tried to kill Bella. Alice tells Bella that she sees a future, Edward kills him, and that Edward's going to kill himself. Alice tells Bella to come with her to Italy because Edward believes that Bella is dead for some weird reason for assuming shit. Bella saves him just in time and immediately forgives him. They get back together, the Cullens move back to Forks, and happily ever after again. Now, as I said before, this is the book that really started to piss me off. Bella basically wishes to commit suicide after being dumped. She acts totally irrational as well after being dumped. Now, I understand it sucks to have a breakup happen in your life, especially if you care about the person, but if you are so attached to them that when they leave you, you cannot function as a person for months, that is not love. That is obsession. And do not get me wrong, obsession can be used in the right context. In Harry Potter, Voldemort was obsessed with immortality. In Hunger Games, President Snow was obsessed with power. Bellatrix in Harry Potter was obsessed with Voldemort. If you haven't caught on, let me just say it. Obsessions should be used within villains. And the fact that she found no comfort in the fact that Edward was protecting her, I find shocking. Bella uses Jacob throughout the whole book, but Jacob is just as controlling as Edward when it comes down to it. Oh well, on to the next book. Twilight Eclipse. Did Stephenie Meyer even think about the titles, or did she make them seem as cool and edgy as possible? In the series, again, nothing really significant happens, but to sum it up, scare a vampire army, wants to kill Bella because reasons. Edward proposes, Edward tells Bella he won't have sex with her till marriage. Jacob sexually abuses Bella. Her dad laughs about it. Oh, and he is a cop. Edward is a dick and rubs it in Jacob's face that he gets to marry Bella because why not? And Bella kisses Jacob because reasons. Vampire army is defeated and happily ever after. Bella was actually sexually assaulted in this book by Jacob. She tells her dad and he laughs. He is a cop. He owns a gun. His daughter says, "Hey, this dude just tries to force himself on me." And her father laughs. I'm sorry, but my dad would be shooting the ass at who tried that. No realistic father who loves his daughter would laugh at that. Next, Edward just gets more controlling by telling Bella he will not turn her into a vampire until they get married. And she's 18. Now, my parents got married at 21, and even that is considered young. He proposes right after she graduates, and they haven't even been dating for more than a year. Like Edward, you kind of need to chill with the whole thing. It is the main theme of this, though. After Edward rubs it in Jacob's face that he gets to bone Bella, Jacob runs off to cry. Bella catches him and just kisses him. Her and Edward have only been engaged for maybe a week, and Bella is already whoring out. But it ends with Edward having to turn Bella because reasons given by the vampire government. Anyway, thank God, on to the last book. Now, in the last book, the writing and the plot kind of reminds me of a fan fiction. It switches points of views between Jacob and Bella, and it begins with Bella and Edward's wedding. They get married. Jacob is pissed off. Honeymoon, boning, and oh no, Bella is preggers. Edward tells Bella to get rid of it, but Bella says, "Fuck you." Bella has the baby, names the baby Renesmee because unique, fucks Edward a lot, and it's wartime. Wait, not really a war because that's too much. Everyone must live happily ever after forever. Now, I didn't mention one pretty creepy thing. Jacob imprints on a baby. Bella and Edward's baby, to be exact. Now, in the book, if you imprint, it usually ends up with getting married and making babies of your own. Now, is that not just the tad bit creepy? Bella finally stands up for herself and says, "Fuck you, Edward," after he tells her to get rid of the baby. But then once she is a vampire, same shit happens with her doing whatever Edward says. And the whole they fight but they don't scene just really pisses me off. If you are having a series this long and you haven't killed anyone off yet, you're doing something wrong. If you are making a romance action / supernatural, it should be able to stand on its feet alone even without the romance. You need to make sacrifices in books or else they seem just boring with no merit. I mean, I know as an author sometimes it's hard to kill off characters. Trust me. Sometimes I hate my old Wattpad stories for the fact that I killed off some pretty cool characters that I could have expanded on. But sometimes you just gotta man up and do it. Because without death, how do we grow? Without pain, how do we experience love? Without key feelings, we cannot experience other feelings. Meyer could have done a handful of things to save the story, but she chose not to. And I haven't even begun to get into the grammar errors and the spelling errors. It was written like somebody in 6th grade trying to make a fan fiction. I mean, just the writing in general was awful and boring. and repetitive. I mean, if you read the first Twilight book, you might as well have read the other 3. That's pretty much how it was. Had the same writing style, and it just got so boring. Anyways, that was my review on the Twilight series. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to tell me your thoughts, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. If you like content like this, go ahead and subscribe. And as always, stay freaky, my little freaks. I'll see you next time.